Well, I decided today was one more good day to get out on the porch and do a little video. I think there were some creatures I worked on where I demonstrated ways that I traced on and cut the scraps out of the jeans, but there's kind of got to be ones we can work a little ways on next, and I've already got started working on one of these in a place where I couldn't record, and there's certain steps that will come along later that will demonstrate when we get around to really showing something. But there's this little moment where we kind of work on a little something here and come up with the way that we do these little teddy bear things. I've got the ear here and I've got the head here, so we're gonna kind of sew along, make a little needle stitch where we put in the little ways, the knot, and go through it all the way, I say, and then make it so it's going to come right through to the other end. And when the work gets done, we'll have so much more to show. But it was just all a blessed way to go about this. All we do, all we say, I say that this is just how we work our way along, make things a little happy for ourselves, and be the little critter we make along the very way. I say that we're going to have to put those under our thigh to keep the bags from blowing away with the wind. And I mean, there's just so much we see to come to know in life. And oh, well, I tell y'all that we got the work coming our way to make us so we're brighter than all we know. There's been times I've been in McLeod's coffee shop during the day to work on a little sewing, but it's not been doing me all that good to be in Starbucks, so I've been getting out of there for a while. Kind of feel like it did me a little good just to kind of get away. I mean, some of their drinks are pretty good, but it's kind of a time in my life when might need to avoid a little more sugar because I've just kind of had what I think is some symptoms of some high blood pressure, and been to the doctor the other day to get that checked out, and it was pretty high, so he kind of raised my medicine a little bit. And like I said in the last video I recorded, I've been to the gym to exercise a little bit and try to work my way about that, and try to pick up some heavy lifting weight, because I mean, little anxieties kind of make it so I need to do that just to kind of help myself feel good and calm. But man, I tell you, sometimes I miss the days when it was always good and fun and easy to be in a place. But things change, people change, staff changes. Things just go around and get a little different from time to time in a place, and there gets to be moments you kind of have to move on with your life. I've been thankful enough that there's been people who I've seen in those places who have wanted to follow my social media pages, and these days I'm coming out of my comfort zone. I'm kind of opening up my social media a little bit more to more and more people and let them see a whole lot more of what I have and what I do, just so they can kind of know that I'm out there just to kind of reach out, kind of have a little business going. And sometimes I think it would be nice to be able to live a little bit more of a private life, but this is just a time when I kind of have to get out just to kind of see how much I can make business wise, and it's really been helping me a lot. I've been having places in California and New York where I've had customers to come and make little orders that I've been able to send along, especially all these birds that I've been putting on the internet, especially the birds I've been making from scraps, have come a long way. That is, the ones that come from the wood. I'll tell y'all what I'm doing here is I'm sewing the ear on the head. So much that kind of says the good things of life to the best people. And I sometimes kind of realize, even up in California and New York, where some of my pieces have been sold to, that they kind of got my name on them and my slogan, I choose charity over bitterness. And people just kind of like the phrase, put it out there for a lot of good reasons. So much in my life I could choose to be bitter about, but always chose to be real loving and giving instead. And that's how life kind of gets to us. Tells us things that we may not always know for ourselves or know for others, but I say that this is just a good little way to work ourselves along the little paths of what we have and what we do. Oh, to heck with all that, I say. It's just a little buzz that knows what we do. And by the time we get done, we'll have so much more to say. And there's so much more to know from people. We're getting the last stitch done into this ear. Going to make it come along this way. Got the rest of the spool of thread right here so we can do a little more. I'd be in Starbucks or McLeod's sewing something like this and the spool rolls away, so kind of have to manage that. One thing I have to show here is how these little things come along, because you know we kind of have to make it so that the back of the head goes one way and so that the front paws go the other. And that is how we get this sewn into place, how we sew the head onto the underside of the body before we take little next steps to go the next way further on. And later on, you will probably see the reasons why. So we kind of have to make it so it's going to work in the sense that when we sew to the front and sew to the back, a little ways goes along, I say, and finally to where some work shall make its way to us. Oh, bright days, bright futures, bright nights. I just recently recorded a carving video in back here on this porch with all this in the background, and had somebody comment saying that they loved the scenery. Oh, I say, this is just how we have our days, have our nights, have our evenings. Sometimes I tell y'all it's just getting to the point where I might have to watch what I eat for a while, but can manage that for sure. Might be up a little earlier in the mornings and be to work a little earlier so I can get something to eat before I start work. And being the fact that I'm only a 3-hour employee, I'm not supposed to sit down and take a break. So it's all good. That's just Fayette County's policy. And it was just one of those things where I was at one school where for a certain amount of time I'd have a manager who would just give me one anyway, even though she wasn't supposed to. And I was, in a way, kind of glad when she stopped because the reality is that once you get into the habit, it just becomes a routine. And once you kind of get into the routine of taking that break, you start wanting it. And then, there comes days when you can't get it or when somebody can't afford to give it to you because you get a little shorter on staff and shorter of work and you just have more you have to do. So I'd just rather not have it any day than have it most days and not have it other days. So that's been what's worked out for us. And now time to kind of take it from the other direction where the paws are this way and the head is this way. So we're going to kind of stitch along here, take it to where it really needs to go. I say some people even to that. I'd say whenever I did that playlist about carving the flat plane nativity challenge, I posted the playlist to Facebook and got a lot of likes and laughing emojis on the page, and some people even commented saying it was very funny. I kind of watched it for myself, couldn't really see what was so funny about it, but I mean, it's probably just because I kind of talk in strange ways, talk in circles, just talk in ways that don't make sense, go from one topic to another. And I'd say there was a time I watched this video about this woman who said she just come on there to yap at us while she was doing her makeup and things like that. Sometimes us men, we have a tendency to do it as well. I mean, it's not common for men, but probably be one of the few men you'd say you find it in. Probably had some men who were in my family before me who could very well have been a true thing about, but I say that this is just little ways we work through our problems in life. Sometimes, just sometimes, gotta work it off. There be times when you come to realize that life can get a little stressful here and there, and we'll manage that. We'll get through that. But there's just one little thing I'll say that I'll kind of try to do here, make it so we kind of have the ears in an equal space and get to where we're going to, well, I got the wrong side of the bear there, and it's a good thing I'm watching out for that while I'm on video because it gets bad enough when you do it by yourself. We're going to try to put a little thread in here, try to sew in a little place to attach on the ear, and kind of get it right where it needs to go, right where it needs to be. And so little work can manage us now and show us little favor as to where we come in life to go about all the crap we do. I say I'm losing my mind, losing my words. Oh, and little things I say. I mean, we kind of got to take care of this other side of the ear. I was losing my focus. The other side of the seam, that is, to kind of get it right in. We can kind of take little steps one at a time. Sometimes, if you want to do a good job, you kind of can't do it too fast. You kind of have to pace yourself, get it in the right places at the right times for what you're doing, and just kind of get a little work done and how it just comes along, and then put it to where you kind of get the stitch around in place and get it in the right spot. And so with all this work coming along, we make this little way to show how this little teddy bear shall come along right, and then make it so we come back and we'll go a little ways back to the place where we started from, and then kind of take it the rest of the way up the ear. And I tell you, people, it's okay that there are children playing in the background. That's probably some of those sounds and noises you hear, but children are good. They can be a little good sometimes and just be innocently playing, having their fun, and always just kind of being safe in their yards. We think sometimes, society changes and things just aren't as safe as they used to be. I hear things all the time from people, and all that they talk about from when they were kids. It was kind of different for me when I was a kid, and that was okay. I just was not all that well developed a kid in my time, and it just kind of gets a little different now and then with what we know and what we learn. But I say that we got a little bit of a stitch going on here to the back of the head and the ear, and make it a long ways to, and it just came out of the cloth. That's a shame. But we see that there's been a lot of videos. I've demonstrated lots of things, and you probably also saw before all the little things I did where I could like put all the things in place to kind of make it so that you see little lights and see little things. And oh, I tell y'all, that work I put in whenever I showed you all how I cut a pair of jeans up. I look back on that little video and can't remember when it was, probably been a few years, but I know I had one of those that I put on Facebook and was trying to do it live, but the live got interrupted somehow and I wasn't able to continue it. But I worked my way about it, making it so we all just saw a little ways of work to do what we do. And oh, the times when I say we've just worked ourselves away, made things just for the best of us and the best of you. And so I decide I'm going to try to sew along here as well. Just went up and down the ear a little bit, but there's going to come a time later when we're going to come back and take care of the ear again and try to sew it the rest of the way up like it needs to be. So there's just little steps I take at a time just to try to get things together when I can, and put things together the best I can, and try to get a good head start on things so they'll be able to be a little bit better worked when a little more time comes to be put into the work a little more. And then we're just gonna try to get little things to work for the best. It's a good thing I have a nice little kitty chair here that I can put my spool of thread into so it doesn't roll away as easily. And I say that, you know, the way they get away in places. Once I was out on the patio of Starbucks sewing, and the spool of thread rolled off the patio out into the drive-through. Had to go out there and get it. Oh, I tell y'all, sometimes I don't know, what kind of messes they might even allow in places. And for this little bear, I say I'm going to try to put a little stitch up here at the very top of its arm to kind of give it away so it'll kind of get a little light into us and make it so we're going to brighten things away, and good times and good people always make it so we're better at things. And I tell you, the thread just broke here as I was trying to put it through, so we're gonna kind of try to make this little extra line here, put a little knot in the place, and run it all the way through just to make it so we got a little bit of a bear to come along to our ways and brighten us as we brighten ourselves and brighten our souls and our lives together. And in all things, I say, work our way up to the knot. Make it so the knot in the bear is going to have a way through, come to us, get to us, oh, little things, and then try to make that last little knot right here at the top of the arm, and then try to spool it through the rest of the way and come right through, right like that. Things we don't know in life, things we don't need. Oh, one little thing I say, we got a little place to go right in here. And as for this little knot we're making, we gotta tie one more spot in, get it right in its proper place, and make it so we're going to see the teddy bear the best it can be. I've got one of these I've already sewn together in some places, and the steps can kind of get a little odd now and then, but we're going to manage this well. We're going to take it the best way we can. I say that this is just one little place where we got one little more line to make here between the leg and the butt. I say put another line in, in another knot, make it so it's going to have its own little starting place, I say, and put a little time and work into what all we do, and then work our way through a little ways and make it so we're going to brighten souls and lights and nights, and then come and do the rest. We got the little knot right in the place here where it needs to be, and I'm thinking we might come around, take care of these same little places on the other little side here, and this is the way we have come along to the point when we're going to take things out, make a little further work of our art, and put it where it's going to see people, for people to see it and know that we got kind of some interesting ways about our days in life, and one little place here where we place the knot into it and come along and draw that little line, make the little spool go right through, and see how it's coming right into the place where it ought to be. Would like to kind of see this business get bigger, would like to see it become more successful. There comes a time for that. There comes a time to see that and know that. Everything just has its own time in life, and we all just get there when the time comes. Like of all things we see. Think I'm going to go the same route I took with the last little piece and make it so we're going to make the line to come along right and go right into the little place where we see a little morning and glowing and timing showing, and blessed times I say that this is just one little work of our hands that we do, making it so we're going to get bright days, bright lights, nights, and stuff. And oh, I tell y'all that this is just one little work that's coming a long, long way. And we're going to come up here, take in the rest of the year, take care of the rest of the light and the night, and then see how this shall come to pass, what we do, and make a little day, light, and morning time out of us. Oh, I say that these bears are going to be so wonderful when they come right out. We know that this is like a little blue bear. You know, my grandmother had a blue teddy bear in her den that I was already grown up by the time she had it, but some little girls she babysat played with it, and they called it Blue Bear. They kind of gave it a special name like that, and so it was just how that worked and came along there. And then you'll see that this is just how we do in life. I do think this time around I ended up with a little bit of a shorter piece of thread, maybe. Probably not going to complete this all this whole way that I did the last one, but have a little work to come along where we put a few more stitches in, bring it up the right way, the way that the sewing is supposed to go, all the little stitches in life, all the little stitches in work, and all the little things we kind of make of all we got. I say that this is just brighter days and nights to come to us and glow in our dark. You know, it comes a time when it's getting closer to Halloween. This neighborhood's going to be full of trick-or-treaters. They're going to be coming after dark in their little scary Halloween costumes and getting candy. And we know this kind of comes out to be a better year for all things, because there was the year when, because of COVID, it was so much different and candy had to be sorted out on the driveway. We didn't know how trick or treat was going to work that year, but I'd say we managed it well. We got through it all and finally just made our way out to take care of the kids. This would probably be one place where I'd hate to end the video, but it just occurred to me that I've got clothes in the washer and probably need to move them over to the dryer and put my next load in before long. So I just want to say that we'll of course have a little bit more to come in the next video, but think I might start the next one after I go check on that and take care of that. Thank you again for watching. Take care.